Hello again, a very warm welcome to you all. My name is Deni Kay. I'm here today with a Samaroli Without Borders, a blended malt, released in 2020, bottled at 45% ABV, limited to 1,139 bottles worldwide. Samaroli needs little to no introduction to the whiskey nerds or enthusiasts out there. There may be some people watching now that aren't overly familiar with the brand, so perhaps what I'll do is I'll touch on that in a moment. Now, if you don't subscribe and you do like the video, feel free to do so. Feel free to hit the like button or comments as well. I'd appreciate that. Now, what I want to go through is the actual whiskey that makes up this blend. I'll go over Silvano, Samaroli, and also the brand, and then the actual whiskey itself. So this whiskey here, Without Border, made up of whiskey from 4 Scottish distilleries, both peated and unpeated. We'll go with 2007 Glenmorangie ex-bourbon cask, 2008 Glenelgan ex-bourbon cask, 2014 Carl Ela ex-bourbon cask, and then another peated from the Isle of Mull, yes, Lecheg from 1998. Some sherry cask influence coming in from there. Now, Tobermory Distillery, as I've discussed in the past, 50% of the year producing an unpeated whiskey that comes out under the Tobermory brand, and then the other 50% of the year producing a heavily peated, delicious whiskey under the Lecheg brand. So that one there, 1998, a little bit of age on that one. So, Samaroli, Silvano Samaroli, back in 1968, started bringing in some single malt whiskey, predominantly Cadenheads, into Italy, selling that, and then the late 70s started to bring out some single cask and cask strength whiskey independently bottled under the Samaroli label. If you were to fast forward through to the 1980s, and that is really where some legendary bottlings, and yes, I said legendary bottlings, were released, and really, I guess you could say, what the brand really built its reputation off. Some of the bottlings that came out there, where there are probably people watching here right now, but some of the whiskey nerds out there are probably brawling at auction over those bottles. When they come out, they are very, very desirable. The quality of the stuff now is very, very, very good. So Silvano Samaroli, sadly no longer with us, passed in 2017, but the brand lives on. The quality of stuff is very, very good. This is no different. Now, even if you do not normally go for blended whiskey, keep watching. Do not turn your nose up at this one, or really at a lot of blends out there, because a lot of good quality blends out there. I'm a blended whiskey fan. Normally, I will spend most of my money on single malts, but when you find a good blend like this one, it's worth the money, in my opinion. Now, the other thing that I will say is I've looked at the price of this locally and abroad. Well, I think that this is very, very well priced. Yes, some of the Samaroli stuff is, you call it expensive, but it's Samaroli. It's not supposed to be cheap. So you get what you pay for. That is exactly the best way to describe this. You get what you pay for. Now, the whiskey. Let's go through the whiskey. Smell, taste, overall experience, my thoughts on it. I've given this a little bit of time in the glass. Now, immediately, smoke, yes. Carl Ela, obviously. Lemon drop confectionery sweetness and some lemon sherbet too. Brine, underlying cough drops, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Some black pepper now. I think that this noses higher than 45%. Savory with hay, olive tapenade, bruschetta topping. Now, is it bruschetta or bruschetta? I'm not an expert in this. You can let me know, but yeah, sometimes you'll get it, or most of the times you'll probably get it topped with tomato, olive tapenade, green olives. That's what I'm getting on the nose here, along with some candied ginger. Now, it does become slightly vegetal. I will say, in my opinion, that the peat is wonderfully balanced. It is a very clean type of smoke. It is not sooty or ashy at all. Very lovely nose. I really think you could spend quite a little bit of time nosing this. I should have said this earlier. Color is a white wine. Very, very, very light color, but big on flavor. Big on flavor. Very interesting and completely different to what you'd expect on the nose. It's the opposite on the palate in terms of flavors, because on the nose, what we got was the smoke, yes, and then a lot of the sweet notes came through, a little bit of spice, herbal notes, vegetal. Here, it's the opposite way around, where it's herbal to begin with, predominantly sage, and then vegetal with some spice. Once again, pepper. Then comes the sweetness. The tapenade makes a very brief appearance. Then it goes to creamy vanilla, almost a slightly burnt toffee, butter biscuits, peppery oak that works really, really well with the sweetness coming through. Now the finish is interesting, because I would say that it is medium at most, but there is still some lingering pepper and sweet citrus that sticks to the roof of your mouth. So the medium, I say, because the event is over, but you're still getting that flavor that sticks to the roof of your mouth, and it's moreish. You really do want to take another sip. 45% ABV. I have put some water in this previously. The difference to me with water is that spice, both smell and taste, start to take a little bit of a back seat. I get some green apples on the nose along with the sweet citrus. Taste a little bit of the apples as well, maybe even some berries with water, and big vanilla, big toffee, really sweet compared to this without any water. However, I prefer it without the water. I think that is really, really well balanced. I think it noses higher than 45%, but I think the taste is very, very good. It works extremely well. There is a lot going on with this, a lot. It's been put together absolutely perfectly. It's a high scoring whiskey for me. So there you have it. My thoughts on this one. I've not sat down to review a Samaroli before. I haven't done very many indie bottled whiskies up till now, because I know that some of the limited stuff can sometimes be harder to find. So therefore, it's interesting for some people to watch, not so interesting for other people to watch. I will do more indie stuff this year, quite simply because I drink a lot of it. I think it's great. I think it's worth sharing. So therefore, that's what I'll do this year, but I'll still continue to do a lot of the stuff that I have in the past. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that for now. As I said earlier, if you're a first-time viewer, first-time visitor, feel free to subscribe. That way you can join us again next week. Thank you to everyone who is watching. I should also actually say, I should shout out and say thank you very much to the guys at Old Barrel House for getting this to me, because it came to me within a couple of days. And that is unusual at the moment. It normally takes weeks and weeks for any of my whiskey deliveries to arrive, which is a bummer. So it's a real treat when something arrives literally within 2 or 3 days. So thank you very, very much. Thank you very much to everyone for watching. Cheers to you. Till next time.